And these are a mixture of all different genres, so we're just going to dive straight in. Words. They'll come out eventually. Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and we're doing my 23 books to read in 2023. This is getting a bit ridiculous, but these are 23 books that I have either kept putting off or just really excited for. I've done a bit of a mixture of both because that way I know I'm more likely to actually get to these. I think 2 are carryovers from 2022, which are books that I still really want to read, I just didn't get to. That's what the plan is for today's video. Let me know what are some of the books that you're excited to read, or if you're going to be reading any of these, or if you have read any of these. But we're going to start off with 3 books that I don't actually physically own yet. The first one is 5 Survive, and this is by Holly Jackson. Now I'm actually filming this in November, so this is really early Christmas stuff. At the time that I'm filming this, 5 Survive is due out in the next 2 weeks actually, or is it a week and a bit? Regardless, it's coming out at the end of November. I'm really excited to get this. Holly Jackson is the author of the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, which I really enjoyed. It's probably one of my favourite YA murder mystery series. I absolutely loved it. So I'm really excited to see what this next book is about, which actually, let me read the synopsis because I don't know. 8 hours, 6 friends, 1 sniper. Ooh, okay. 18-year-old Red and her friends are on a road trip in an RV heading to the beach for spring break. It's a long drive, but spirits are high until the RV breaks down in the middle of nowhere. There's no mobile phone reception and nobody around to help. And as the wheels are shot out one by one, the friends realise that this is no accident. Ew, it sounds really interesting. I'm very intrigued by it. I have high hopes because I know I like her writing, so we'll be getting that one soon, and definitely a priority to read in January? Maybe January, but definitely 2023. Then we have Hellbent by Leah Bardugo, and this is the second book in her adult fantasy series, the first one being Ninth House. I absolutely loved this. This is actually going to be on my anticipated releases video, which I haven't actually filmed, even though that's... Is it coming out before this or after this? I haven't worked out the timing of that one yet, but I'm really excited for this one. It's a dark academia / horror book. It's fantastic. We're following our main character Alex as she attends this prestigious school because of the fact that she is able to see ghosts. She is someone that has to kind of keep all these secret societies that are part of this school in line. It's a really good book. There is definitely horror elements to it. Do check the trigger warnings. I loved this book, and I think the next one is due to come out in February. Very excited. Definitely a priority one that I want to read. And then we have Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. Maureen Johnson is the author of the Truly Devious series, and I absolutely love this series. Box in the Woods is a continuation from that series. So the first one, the Truly Devious, is a trilogy, and then I do believe Box in the Woods is a new mystery for our main character to solve. But let me just get the synopsis up. Oh, okay, so it actually says it's the 4th in the Truly Devious series, but this is outside Ellenham Academy, which took place in the first 3 books. Amateur sleuth Stevie Bell needs a good murder. After catching a killer at her high school, she's back home for a normal, that means boring, summer. But then she gets a message from the owner of Sunny Pines, formerly known as Camp Wonder Falls, the site of the notorious unsolved case, the Box in the Wood murders, back in 1978. Ooh, 4 camp counsellors were killed in the woods outside the town of Barlow Corners, their bodies left in a gruesome display. The new owner offers Stevie an invitation, come to the camp and help him work on true crime podcast about the case. Sounds really good. I'm very intrigued. So it is actually continuing on with the series, but is outside of the academy, so I kind of see it as, well, no, it is a continuation because it's going to continue on from the events. So anyway, this is the 4th book. I'm really excited to get it. I didn't get it because it was in hardback, but I really want to pick it up, so hopefully the paperback is out soon. I should probably check that, but fingers crossed, we'll be getting that one very soon, and priority for 2023. So those are the 3 books that I don't actually own yet, and then we have 20 books here, and these are a mixture of all different genres, so we're just going to dive straight in. Words. They'll come out eventually. So at the top we have The Traitor by Seth Dickinson. I've been speaking about this book a lot lately because I am very excited about it, to be honest. And also the fact that it was very frustrating that this has a different title to the US cover, and I was looking for the US title and didn't realise there was a whole moment. I've done a few videos and rants on it by now. This one is also known as The Traitor Barrel Comrade, and this one, I'm gonna say what I said last time, I picked up because of Reagan. She absolutely loved it, and it's a political fantasy, kind of like a Tyrion Lannister if he was a woman, and we're gonna go from there. I'm really excited. I have heard nothing but good things about it. If I do like this, I am tempted to get the US edition because I much prefer that cover, but this is high priority. I really want to get to this in the next couple of months, so fingers crossed we'll be doing that soon. I say fingers crossed because I know what I'm like. I'll prioritize things and be like, oh, I'm so excited, and then don't actually get around to them. And then we have a book that I spoke about in my first sentence challenge, which I filmed like 5 minutes ago, but I loved it. It was really good, and one of the books on their top priority to read, the top 5 out of that 10 books is Madam by Phoebe Wynne, and this is a dark academia book. We are following a teacher who goes to this exclusive school teaching English for the girls. Rosie's classroom becomes her haven. Here the stories of fearless women from ancient Greek and Roman history ignite the curiosity of the girls as she teaches, and unknowingly the suspicions of the powers that be. As Rose uncovers the darkness that beats at the very heart of the school, the lines between myth and reality grow even more blurred. I'm really intrigued. I do think it's going to be good, but I mentioned in that first sentence video I kept putting it off for some reason, and then we read the first sentence and I really enjoyed it, so this is definitely going to be getting read in 2023. I keep wanting to say this year, but we're not quite there yet. Then we have A Marvellous Light by Freya. This is a book I picked up recently, and I'm really excited to read this one. It's a Regency fantasy romance, which is a new to me genre that I've realised I absolutely adore. It's probably my favourite setting for fantasy, is like that Regency fantasy. Chuck in a bit of romance and I'm all there for it. I'm so excited. I know this one is gay. The second book has come out and lots of people seem to be really enjoying it. This is one that I can't wait for. We are following a baronet, Robin. He's struggling to save his family estate from his late parents' excess. A new job seems perfectly timed, but no one tells him he'll be acting as a parliamentary liaison to the hidden society of magicians, or that the position is only open because his predecessor has gone missing. Even as Robin discovers magic's wonders, he is put under a dangerous curse. He'll need Edwin, our love interest, his magical society counterpart, to help him navigate those hazards. But his aloof associate clearly wishes Robin were anyone and anywhere else. Drawn ever closer by unexpected perils, Robin and Edwin will uncover a conspiracy and a secret some have already died to keep. It sounds fantastic. I'm really excited for this and I cannot wait to see how that romance is going to blossom. Then we have a continuation of a series that I absolutely loved. Keep putting off reading the second book because we don't know when the third one's coming out, but I've got to do it. I've got to read it, especially while I still remember the plotline of the first book. Otherwise I'm only going to have to reread the first one to then go with this. Anyway, that is The Liar's Knot by M.A. Carrick. This is the second book in the series after The Mask of Mirrors. I really enjoyed The Mask of Mirrors. Again, we've got that Regency setting with a fantasy plotline going on, and we're following our main character who conned her way into the high society because she believes her and her sister, you know, they shouldn't have to constantly keep scraping by the dregs of society, so she goes out of her way to infiltrate a high society family, but gets more tangled up than what she thinks. She ends up caring about this family so much more than what she meant to. There is also some murders and stuff that are happening, and there is quite a few different plot lines. It is a bit complex, but I really enjoyed it and I loved the ending of that book. I really like the magic system in this. It's not really heavy, but it's definitely there, which works. It just works really well. I really enjoy it. But I know I am starting to forget some of the finer points, so I really want to read the second one before I forget it, or I'm just going to have to reread the first one, which isn't a bad thing because I really did enjoy the first one. It's definitely one of my top fantasy series that I discovered. I know this is going to be fantastic. This is a series I really don't see many people talking about. I picked up the first one because of Elliot Brooks and just fell in love with it. Okay, another book from the first sentence challenge, we have The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova. This was my favourite book from the first sentence challenge, and this is a book with vampires. It's kind of like a Dracula inspired book, but to do with a library. I am so excited. I don't really want to know loads going into this one. It is an older book. This was actually printed in 2005. I haven't heard many people talking about it, but I have seen it on some lists of books to read. I think Was it Dark Academia inspired one or was it just Gothic? I'm not sure, and I do think this is a priority. Actually, I do think it would be good for winter as well, just that darker setting, because otherwise it's going to be like, do I wait until summer? Some of these books I'm really happy to wait till spring, summer, so like A Mother's Flight I think is going to be a good one for that time because I think it's going to be a bit more lighthearted. This one I think it's going to have more of those Gothic feels, so I never thought I was a seasonal reader, but I've turned into one. So yeah, maybe we're going to read this soon. Really intrigued by it. I love a Dracula retelling. I love Gothic, so it ticks all the boxes. And I haven't read it yet, but it ticks all the boxes that I should enjoy. So fingers crossed. I really have high hopes. I should have done like a 5-star predictions thing, but I don't know. Let me know if you're interested in that. Maybe I'll do it, but that historian one would definitely be on there. The only non-fiction book that I put to one side, and that is A Life on Our Planet, My Witness Statement and a Vision for the Future by David Attenborough. I picked this one up a few months ago actually, and you know, I'm not always in the mood for non-fiction, and I tend to gravitate towards non-fiction about authors that I'm really interested in, so like non-fiction books about Jane Austen or Charlotte Bronte, things like that. But this one I really am intrigued by and I would really like to read it. I do think it's a book that I wouldn't read in one go. It's probably going to be one that I start and then continue reading for a couple of months. So this is obviously about our planet and following David Attenborough and what he has seen. It just sounds absolutely fascinating, and I loved all the shows where David Attenborough narrates everything, and those are just beautiful nature TV shows. I love it. So I'd really like to read the book, and so I think by putting it on this list it would just remind me to prioritise it. I don't know what season. Probably spring going into summer knowing me, but I don't know, I'm really looking forward to it and I just keep putting it off. So the non-fiction for the year that I definitely want to read. I would like to read probably at least like 2 or 3 non-fiction books. I would love to say more, but I know I'm not that sort of person to read loads. But if I could get to like 2, maybe 3 non-fiction books this year, I'd be really pleased. But this is the first one that I want to get to. Do you read much non-fiction? It's a genre that I only recently started dabbling like as of this year. I'm interested in it. I've read 2 for 2022, so it would be nice if I got 3 for 2023. Anyway, moving on, we have a book that I'm carrying over from my top 22 books to read in 2022. This one's now going into my top 23 books to read in 2023, and that's The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. I really want to read this. This has been recommended to me because I love Jane Eyre, and I also really loved Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, and I love those sort of gothic books, and I have been told if I like those, I'm going to enjoy this. I really want to get it read. I had initially planned to read it for October, I just didn't. I ended up doing loads of rereads instead. And again, I feel like that would be perfect for that either winter time or going into autumn Halloween time. This is the year that I'm reading it. If nothing else on this TBR gets read, it has to be this one. I mean, I'm joking to myself, there's loads of books I actually want to read, but I have high hopes. Like, I don't see why I'm putting it off. It sounds like everything I like in a classic gothic book. I should probably tell you what it's about. So we have, on a moonlit road in Hampstead, Walter Hartwright is accosted by a stranger dressed from head to toe in white. She asks the way to London, and no sooner has Walter directed her than he is overtaken by a carriage in pursuit of the mysterious woman who has evidently escaped from an asylum. From this single incident, Walter unwinds a thrilling story of abduction, madness, false identity, and shameful family secrets. See? That's me. That is what I like. I have to read it. Hold me accountable. Okay, going back to the first sentence challenge, we have Lady Hotspur by Tessa Grattan. This is a book that I honestly picked up because of how much I loved The Queens of Innisleer by her. It's a fantasy book I don't see many people talking about. It's beautiful. It's retellings of different Shakespeare works, and this one doesn't say exactly which one, but it is just a reworking of stories of Shakespeare, so I think this one's going to be a couple. I'm really intrigued. I really like Tessa Grattan's writing. It's beautiful, and it's a shame that she doesn't get more hype because I do think, especially The Queens of Innisleer, like, it was stunning, and I do have high hopes for this one. We are following How loathes being a prince. She's much more comfortable on the throne of misrule in a raucous nether court where passion reigns. but as war threatens, Hal must choose whether to follow her heart or her duty. There's also another prince. We have Prince Banamora is faced with agonising choice, abandoning her claim to the throne or take up arms against the new heir, her childhood friend and former protector Hal. And then between these two princes is a bold and fiery knight whose loyalties in the coming war may decide the fate of all, Lady Hotspur Percy. It just sounds so good. I really think it's going to be a fantastic read, so I have high hopes. And again, this is one that I've had on my shelves for absolutely ages and just haven't read, so I need to get on that. I need to speed up as well, like come on, I haven't made much of a dent here. Okay, a book that I'm very excited to read is The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. This is a horror book. I don't know too much what this one is about, but I know I like T. Kingfisher's writing. I read Nettle and Bone, absolutely loved that book, and I know T. Kingfisher has a way of writing books for different audiences, so I'm really intrigued to see whether I'm going to like her horror book or whether I just prefer the sort of books like Nettle and Bone. But they've got loads of books and I cannot wait to actually start reading my way through them. I've got this one and another book by them on my TBR, but this is the one I would like to get to next. A Greek myth retelling, we have 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes, and this is all about the Trojan War. So it's after Troy has fallen and what happens to the women that's involved. I think it's a mixture of short stories. I really like my Greek myths. I have loads of books that I've read around specifically the Trojan War, the things that led up to it, so it'd be really interesting to read a book that follows the aftermath of it for the women. Again, all these forgotten voices. And Natalie Haynes is an author that I've been really wanting to try just to see if I get on with her writing style, so high priority. Again, I'm going to stop saying that because these are clearly all high priority. We have The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. This one being the first one, which is The Fellowship of the Ring. This is a book that I've been meaning to read for absolutely years. I want to at least try it. I am really hesitant, and another reason why I keep putting it on big master list TBRs is because I am so hesitant about reading it. I've heard that they're descriptions in this are just so dense, but I loved the films. I grew up watching them, so I would love to just read the books and just to give them a try, and I might surprise myself with how much I absolutely love them. So yeah, this is again one that I definitely want to read. It's also my 30 to read before 30, so I would like to get this read before May. This is another prompt to remind myself again that I do need to get this book read. We have My Fine Fellow by Jenneke Cohen. I read Dangerous Alliance by her, absolutely loved it. That book was inspired by Jane Austen. It was so good. I absolutely loved it, and it was a Regency book where we're following a main character who is so influenced by the main characters in Jane Austen's works. It was set at the time that Jane Austen was publishing her books. So good, so fantastic. I don't know if this one continues on from it or if it's something completely different. This one is about bacon and stuff. I picked this one up just because I thought it would be a continuation, but I don't actually think it is, which is why it's then gone on the back burner. But this one is, again, in 1830s England, about food and confections. We're following Helena, who is top of her class at the Royal Academy and has a sharp demeanour and even a sharper palate. Penelope is going to prove the value of non-European cuisine to all of England, and Elijah has nothing to his name but a truly excellent instinct in flavours. So yeah, I actually don't think it's going to have anything to do with Jane Austen, which is a shame because I loved that first book, but I'm willing to give it a try. I liked her writing style, and again, this one seems like a nice light fun read, which I think would be good for like spring summer. The other book that I'm bringing in from my 22 to read in 2022, we have The Magic Toy Shop by Angela Carter. I keep meaning to read some Angela Carter's work. I've had this on my TBR for absolutely ages, clearly because it was in my 22 books to read in 2022 and I still haven't read it. I definitely want to get to this. This one we're following a main character who goes to her aunt's, but her uncle is a toy maker who loves only the toys he creates. I'm not sure what it's going to be about. I'm expecting more gothic because of just Angela Carter as an author did more gothic books, but I don't actually know. I need to read it, and it's short, so I have no excuse as to why I didn't get around to reading it this year, but I didn't. We have The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. This is one that I would love to read in October for Halloween. This I just know is to do with a haunted house. I know there's been like Netflix adaptations and things. I haven't watched watched any of those. I am a wuss when it comes to scary things, but I'm hoping that I'm gonna like it. Yeah, I would like to focus on this for Halloween. So this is one of the picks that I want to get in for my October TBR, but this, again, just reminding myself that I need to get around to it. Also, this cover is creepy. I don't know, I kind of feel like, am I going to get really creeped out, or am I going to be disappointed that he's not going to scare me as much? I don't know. I guess we're going to see. Then we have The Body in the Library by Agatha Christie, and this is just a place marker for Agatha Christie books in general, because I really want to continue on with reading Agatha Christie. I love reading murder mysteries. They're my absolute favourite things to read at the moment. Agatha Christie is an author that I really want to get through her works, starting off with the Miss Marple books. This is the second book in the Miss Marple series, but this is just a placeholder for many more books that I want to get to. I would really love to get back into reading a murder mystery classic once a month, but it didn't happen. So this is another reminder that I need to do that with Agatha Christie. Very excited. I love Agatha Christie's writing, and I just can't wait. I can't wait to continue on with these. So yeah, plus this cover is beautiful. So again, just a reminder that I need to make sure I'm prioritizing reading those. I would like to at least read 6 of Agatha Christie's books this year, so that's 1 every other month, preferably 12. But I don't know if I'm going to get to it every single month, but at least 6. That's the plan. And then we have a book that I'm hesitant for, and that's The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. And this is a book I've heard really mixed things. Some people say it's absolutely stunning and I'm going to love it, and then other people say it's not that good. So I'm not sure. It's one of those books that I feel like I'm going to really enjoy, but I'm also nervous. So we're gonna see. This one we are following Daniel, who gets to choose a book from this library of forgotten titles, but the book that he chooses, lots of people start having a growing interest to get it. It's a book that has been destroyed, like all the copies of it have been destroyed, and I think it's a bit of an adventure to find out the truth and the life behind the author of that book, everything that's gone on. It's meant to be really good. I don't know, we're gonna give it a try. Hopefully I like it. Let me know if you've read it and where you stand on it. Oh, the last few books we have The Picnic at the Hanging Rock by Joan Lindsay, and this is a book that I really want to read in summer. It's meant to be like a dark academia creepy book, but also gives me summer vibes just from the basis of it. We're following these group of girls who goes to have a picnic at Hanging Rock, which is an actual place in Australia, which I didn't realise, but one of my lovely subscribers let me know that, so thank you. Then they go missing, and it's meant to be really creepy, and apparently a lot of people thought that this was all based on a true story. It's not, but it is based on a real place, and I'm really excited to read it. Again, giving me more summer vibes. It's a short classic, but I really want to prioritise this one. Clearly, as I said, I said I was going to stop saying that. Apparently I forgot. Then we have a book I'm putting off just because of the sheer size of it, and that's Ken Follett's The Pillars of the Earth. And look at this, it's over 1,000 pages. It's absolutely huge. It's a chunky book, but it was recommended to me by someone at work. This one is telling the story of Philip Prior of Knightsbridge, a devout and resourceful monk driven to build the greatest Gothic cathedral the world has known. Tom the Mason becomes his architect, a man divided in his soul, the beautiful elusive Lady Alina haunted by a secret shame, and a struggle between good and evil that will turn church against state and brother against brother. It's a spellbinding epic tale of ambition, anarchy and absolute power, set against the sprawling medieval canvas of 12th century England. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about Ken Follett as an author, but the size of it, the absolute size of it, yeah, that's off-putting. But this is a reminder that I do need to get to it. I would like to get to it in 2023. Will I? I feel like this is the one that I'm most hesitant for, and I'm not sure if I would, but I would like to at least get it started, even if it's a book that I just read slowly until I like, unless I really get into it and I'm like, oh yeah, I can't put it down. Okay, the last 2 books we have The Ladies of Grace Adieu and Other Stories by Susanna Clarke. This is a short story collection. I really cannot wait to read this one. I've been meaning to read it actually for a little while. I just keep forgetting about it, which is silly, but I'm really excited. It's even got like illustrations and stuff inside of it. But it is a mixture of different short stories. Some have characters from Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, some are just general short stories. I love Susanna Clarke's writing, and I really want to read everything that they've written, which I think this is the only one that I haven't read. So again, would just love to get this read, but also I don't want to because I want to always have something by them on my TBR, which is a weird thing that I've heard other people say, and I'm always like, oh, that's a bit unusual because you can always reread. But now I understand. This cover is stunning, like I absolutely love it. So yes, need to get to that one soon. And then we have The Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And the first sentence of this has stuck with me. So when I was doing my book haul video, I read the first sentence of this and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it since. It was so freaking funny. And this one, we're following a professor who goes on an adventure. They then find themselves trapped in a world lost in time where there are dinosaurs and ape men and stuff, and I just can't wait. I loved all of the Sherlock Holmes books, so I really want to read other stories that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle has written, and this first sentence, freaking hilarious. I absolutely loved it and I cannot wait to get into it. I think it's going to be such a fun read. But there we go, those are the 23 books I would like to read in 2023. So as I said at the start of this, please let me know if you've read any of these books, if there's any that you think, yes, you should definitely be getting to soon, or hell no, Kirsten, what are you doing? Let me know. Most of these I'm really excited for. A couple I am a bit hesitant, as I said, but otherwise I think it's going to be good. I would love to get these read, but we'll see. We're gonna see what happens. Let me know what books that you're really excited to get to in the next year. Have you thought about it, or do you just kind of go on a whim and see what you feel like? This was a really long video to film, but I'm also really excited for all my reading plans for next year now, knowing that I've got these books on my TBR and that I want like prioritize reading them. I know I've said that word a lot, but that's what this video is for. Now that's it for today's video, so thank you so much for bearing with me. I think let's do a firework emoji because this is going to be for the new year. So as much as this video is not coming out on New Year's Eve, let's still do some fireworks ready for the new year. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please do give it that thumbs up, subscribe, comment to let me know that you're here. As I say each time, those three things really do help this channel out, so thank you so much. And as usual, my social media links will be linked below, and I will of course catch you in the next one.